Well, here at home, City Council met for the 6th time this year. Today's meeting saw the implementation of a stormwater utility fee and the creation of a municipal stabilization reserve. City Hall reporter Adam McVicker with more.
Well, the biggest ticket item on Monday's council agenda, a funding model for the city's stormwater system, has passed third reading.
The stormwater utility would see $13 per month added on residential utilities. About 94% of residents will be paying that $13 fee. It will be capped at $480. The money needed to fund over $50 million in repairs and upgrades to the city's aging stormwater system. A municipal stabilization reserve also passed by council at Monday's meeting. It will fund unanticipated operational expenses like a fluctuating interest rate or a decline in revenues. The transfer would be renewed and approved annually. The target is 7.5% of operating expenses. It'll be funded by surplus unbudgeted revenue, earned interest, and supplementary tax revenue. Also during today's meeting, Council approved an area structure plan policy in conjunction with the municipal development plan. This will ensure subdivision developments conform to the city's long-term plans. The city also rezoning many properties in the city's southwest, as well as one in the industrial park to be used as a bowling alley. City Council also addressing financial oversight, and a new financial system will be in place in September, according to administration.
We'll have all these stories and more coming up throughout the week on Newcap News. Back to you.
Well, early signs of spring created a great atmosphere for the Lloydminster showcase this weekend. Not only did attendance shoot up from 2016, but there was a renewed sense of optimism in the air. Josh Ryan reports.
There was plenty of excitement throughout the Lloydminster showcase, and there's plenty more in the aftermath. The annual trade show saw a 10% increase in sales from the previous year and more positive chatter about the future.
Right around that 11,000 people, so we're pretty excited about that. Great weather, lots of people are excited, and very positive comments about the whole show.
This year has been a lot more people here, a lot more people at our booth. I mean, the economics is turning around a little bit, so things are looking a little more optimistic, and that's been a good turnout, and we're pretty happy we're here.
In addition to nice weather and new vendors, a number of small structural adjustments helped Showcase run a little bit more smoothly.
We relocated our one stage back into the stockade, which helped improve the flow. People have seen the seminars happening. That was one improvement we've made. We'll continue with that for the future.
Vendors were also happy with the turnout, giving their spring sales a strong start.
You know, a lot of people going through here don't normally come to our store. So, you know, like there's a lot of ladies, their wives, or their girlfriends, you know, they get to have a look at some of the bikes.
At the trade show here, we get lots of inquiries, and I usually get more work than I can handle for the summer just out of this trade show.
Plus, those additions have given even more opportunities for networking.
Lots of vendors here, right? So, you know, there's a lot to look at, different brands.
Sidoric says they're reaching a capacity that could require expansion, but that is further down the road.
We really do truly need another building, but it needs to be attached to this complex so that everybody can kind of stay under one roof.
Josh Ryan, Newcap News.
Though many people are excited for warmer weather, what they aren't looking forward to is the unwanted pests that make their presence known in the spring and summer. In this week's retrospect, Gina Martin finds out whether or not gophers are still an issue in the region.
Burrowing rodents, namely pocket gophers and ground squirrels, are causing between $50 and $100 million worth of damage each year. Alberta agriculture officials say the problem could get noticeably worse as humans continue to take over the rodents' natural habitat.
As we ultimately try to change the cover of the land to maximize it for production for man's own use, for forage and for crops and so on, this problem is inevitably going to become more apparent.
Alberta agriculture officials felt it was important to address that concern, so they've organized a damage control workshop. It'll be held in Edmonton starting tomorrow night.
We're going to be looking at what has been done in the past, we're looking at what we're doing presently, and we're looking at some of the research work that's going on to control the damage caused by these rodents.
Bourne says there's been a few problems with the current damage control methods, including the lack of availability of some rodenticides.
Unfortunately, for most small animal damage control, it really amounts to removing the animal. And so, as we've been working with these rodent problems in the last several decades, that's the strategy we've been using to control them. But by looking at other information and other research into these rodents, we might find a better way, incorporate a different way, or perhaps amalgamate several approaches to controlling the damage.
When it comes to gopher problems today, comments are mixed. A local pest control business says it's a constant issue, but the city isn't seeing a severe impact and doesn't enact any routine measures on most parks. There is, however, 2 locations where an environmentally friendly rodenticide is used.
One of the areas we do is the cemetery because we just don't like to have them there. The other one, the big one we do is the Legion Ballpark because it's a safety concern. You've got people there running and they're concentrating on playing ball, not worrying about whether there's a gopher hole.
That's all for Retrospect this week. I'm Gina Martin.
Saskatchewan provincial volleyball playoffs are right around the corner. For Lloydminster's under-16 wrestlers women's team, that means a good showing was needed at the Sask Cup Tournament number 3 this past weekend, and the girls delivered. Lance Phillips with more.
The road to provincial gold went through Lloydminster this weekend, and the 7th-ranked Lloydminster wrestlers continued to prove they have what it takes to compete against the province's top teams. Although a 6th-place finish isn't exactly what they wanted, it does keep them in Tier 1, right where the team wanted to be at the end of play Sunday.
We worked really hard for it, and I think we deserved it. We played our best, and we accomplished our goal.
Staying in Tier 1 certainly wasn't easy, but according to head coach Zach Halwax, it came down to one standout trait.
Big part is resiliency. You know, for them to lose 3 close matches early on today against good teams, 3rd set against Rose Valley, 3rd set against Saskatoon Smash, 3rd set against QCVC, and then to come out, it would have been really easy for them to kind of disengage themselves from the game and feel a little depleted. And they were resilient, and they came out and they battled, and they didn't have their best stuff, but they earned the win, right?
I think the team performed really good today. We all came together and a lot of positive energy. There wasn't much negative going on, so that really brought us up.
A big part of this was positive attitude, being a collective group. I've been a part of groups before where it gets cliquey and there's separation, and to see the kind of the deconstructive effect or the negative effect that happens on a team, that was a priority of my assistant coach Mike and mine from the beginning of the year was to make sure that this is a cohesive group.
The goal entering Sask Cup number 3 was to earn a berth in the provincial final. And now that the goal's been achieved, a new, tougher goal has been set, but one Halwax believes is achievable.
I think we believe that we're a top-tier team, but there's a difference between 6th, 7th, and 8th, and 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and we need to get mentally tough to take that next step and challenge the top teams in the province and beat them as opposed to kind of rolling over at the back end of a 3rd set. So the goal is to just continue to up that compete level, continue to up the willingness and the desire and the belief that you are a good team and that we can win this province if you so choose.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.
Lloydminster has produced some quality volleyball talent over the years, and the border city's current crop of young athletes are no different, and one of those athletes is about to reap the rewards of her efforts. Brecken Laventure has been selected to Team Saskatchewan Volleyball's under-16 squad for the upcoming North American Indigenous Games. Laventure talked about the selection process at this past weekend's Sask Cup tournament.
There was an original ID camp that we had to go to.
Okay.
And then there was another one after that, and then there was a final cut.
12 players from across Saskatchewan were selected to the team, which will play other under-16 teams from all over North America. And the 15-year-old's not the only one who considers it quite an accomplishment.
You're playing against people from all over North America, right? So anytime you play on that kind of field or that kind of avenue or whatever you want to word it, it's phenomenal, I think.
I'm really proud, actually. I'm really excited to play. I think we'll be a pretty good team. I'm excited.
The tournament will give the Macklin Rage Middle a lot of experience and should add to her already impressive skill set, according to Tuff.
She's diverse in all fields of the sport, so her skills are phenomenal, and she's a huge plus for our team.
The games take place July 16th to 23rd, 2017 in Toronto.